Okay, we're going to be doing Thursday now, and Thursday is going to consist of two exit projects, no research papers. One will be by Fatima, the other one will be by Ariella. Let's do Fatima's first. This is called the citric acid experiment, okay? The problem she has is if sugar is added to three different liquids, lemon juice, water, and orange juice, will it change the amount of citric acid? Hypothesis: if sugar, 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon, and 3/4 teaspoon, is added to three different liquids, lemon juice, water, and orange juice, then the more sugar is added, the less citrusy the liquid will be, giving it a higher pH number. Because the more sugar added to more sweet something becomes, it doesn't become more bitter. Here are her materials: pH paper and the liquids and some sugar. Procedure: I assume when I review this, I'm gonna have you stop on this so you can take a look at the procedure. Looks very much like what we do in class. Data table, also put together like we do in class. Turned into a graph. We always love those graphs. And the conclusion. Her conclusion does support her hypothesis. So the data supports the hypothesis because the hypothesis was that more sugar added, the less citrusy the water would be. Okay, so I am going to have you read through this. I'm going to start at the beginning. And I'm going to go down. Look at her problem. If there's anything you would change on this, anything different you would like, make known in your forum today. Hypothesis. Read this very carefully. I had to read it twice, so read it very carefully. You can stop the video at any time. Materials, pretty straightforward. Procedure. You can stop the video, take a look, read through this. Data table, you can also stop, review. Make sure that you're looking, if this is a PowerPoint or a PDF, whatever it is, make sure you're looking at it to see what the format is in case for a future experiment or exit project you would want to use some ideas from it. Turned into a graph. And then I want you to carefully read her conclusion when we come back to this. Okay, so you stop the video now and read the conclusion. Okay, let's move over to our next exit project. This is by Ariella. This is the best way to store bread. I didn't know there was a best way, but we are going to find out today. Problem: how does the way a loaf of bread is stored affect the quality of the bread in the span of a week? Hypothesis: if three pieces of bread, each 3 by 3 by 1 centimeters, are stored using 5 different methods, paper bag, plastic bag, open air, refrigerator, and the outdoors, in the span of a week, then the bread stored in the refrigerator will be the most effective way to store the bread because the cold temperature will have the greatest effect in the prevention of growing mold and dryness. Variables. It looks just like our IDD that we use. Materials, just what she described in her hypothesis. Procedure, again, this is why it's so important to work how we work this year, because you can see that both Fatima's and Ariella's procedures are just the way we did in class. So you may not like the experiments that you see, but you will see the format is correct, and that's what you want to take to high school with you. So you can stop the video here. You can look at some of the pictures. After 1 week, what they look like. Data table. Chart. Ooh, I like that chart. Very unusual looking chart. I like that. And the conclusion. So the hypothesis was supported by the data, and she's going to tell you why. So you also stop the video here, and I think this should applications in the real world. Okay. This experiment can be used in the real world to differentiate the best spot to hold your bread so the bread doesn't pick up mold and doesn't become dry. So, I'm going to run through it again so you have the opportunity to take a look and critique and make constructive criticisms for any of what you see in either one of these projects. And again, you can see by the last couple of times I've been withholding my comments because I'd rather you didn't use my comments, and mine are pretty straightforward. So this is important. That hypothesis is the keystone to your exit projects. Remember that. Variables, materials, procedure. Read through that. Make sure it's the way it should be. Anything that you think should be fixed or could be better. Photos. I always like photos. So this is when they start, and this is when they finish. Data table. Data table in the chart. Go back to that chart. I like that chart. I want to ask her how she made that, because I like that. Okay, in the conclusion. So I want you to read through this. Take a few minutes. I know that some of you are not looking through this as carefully as you should. Look, you have a 45-minute class with me for this. So this video is going to be about 7 minutes long. You have the whole period to just go through this, stop and read it. You will reap huge benefits by going through these and taking the time to look at them. Okay, and that is about it. So go now to your Jupyter discussion forum and answer the questions that I posted there and give some comments. And that is it. And I thank you. And you have a have a wonderful Thursday.